Hello everybody, welcome to my Devil May Cry Strategies and Tactics video. This is going to be sort of like a more advanced video, so after you're very familiar with the game mechanics, I'm going to show some more advanced combos and some more advanced moves that'll help improve your game and help make the harder difficulties a little bit easier after you experiment with some of these. Some of the things we're going to be looking at, I call it well, I don't really call it this way, but it's a kind of a traditional Devil May Cry sort of thing. You've got jump canceling and buffering, so I'm going to talk a little bit about those, and I'm also going to talk about I guess I should call it glitch bouncing. I don't know really what else to call it. Glitch bouncing an enemy. It's kind of like my little thing. I don't really know what they call it in the community, or if it's even called anything in the community. It's just something I use a lot that I found kind of effective. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those things. I'm also going to talk about just some other combat combos that I've found to be highly effective and really useful. So, alright, so let's talk about buffering. So the first thing is about buffering. Buffering is when you've got your, using your guns. Well, you can be using your sword too, and it's when you're charging up a move like this, and you gotta hold the button down to charge stuff. Okay? Or when you gotta I use it mostly for the guns, so when you're charging up your guns, charging up to do the big shot of the guns. Now, one thing about buffering is that basically you charge up the move while you're doing other things. So while I'm doing this ridiculous combo, at the very end, I can shoot him with my charged up guns. Now, that's kind of it sounds a little complicated, but it's really not all that bad. How I actually execute it is my thumb is big enough to where I can push the X button. I'm using an Xbox controller, by the way. This is a wired Xbox controller. I can hold down the shoot button and still press the attack button while holding down the shoot button. So using that methodology, I can even jump with it still as well. So using that methodology, I can as soon as I'm done doing my move, I just let go and shoot. For me, it's very simple. A simple way to get that extra power that a charged up gunshot does. Like for example, a really good one is the shotgun. Shotgun's awesome. Bam! Shoot that explosive shot right at the end after it charges up. Get that extra damage in there. It's really nice because running around and like charging up your shot or doing whatever while you're charging up your shot, it really is kind of like a waste of time, and it gives enemies a chance to fuck you up real good. So it's much better to use like a buffering technique like that to get off some of the charge moves in the game, because basically you're masking the input, the holding input of your charge while you're doing other moves. The other thing is jump canceling, and what jump canceling does is the whole idea of it is that normally when you're in the air and you have an animation, okay, you've got this animation and it's kind of prefixed animation. You can't really change it all that much. But believe it or not, by jumping off an enemy, you can cancel that animation and restart it, so you can spam the same attack over and over and over again. Now, in some of the previous Devil May Crys, they had some pretty advanced, more complicated jump canceling moves that you could do. But in this one, I haven't really screwed around with it too much. But so far, I've only really seen and used a few of them. I'm going to show a couple of them to you. And basically, you need to have enemy step in order to pull off jump canceling. And I'll show you see how there's the black smoke there? And the black smoke kind of shit. So basically, I'm jumping off. That's considered jumping off the enemy, that little black smoke. So you'll see I'm not really even touching the ground at all. I'm just touching the enemy. So in order to obviously get that, you need to be touching the enemy or very close to them, and it'll activate that. So basically we're doing that mid-air to cancel our regular attack animation and spam it. So kind of something like that. And depending on how skilled you are at it and how good your timing is, you can keep it going longer, or not miss as many attacks. You can do it too fast and your hits won't connect. You'll still sit there in the air with the enemy, but your hits won't attack. See, I kind of was trying to spam it there. I got a little bit off my rhythm, but you can see some of those hits. Some of these hits aren't even hitting, but it's a good move to do after you practice it a while. I haven't practiced it all that much, but it definitely helps when you've got enemies in the air and you want to really do some damage on them. definitely very helpful. You can also do it with the Helm Breaker move, this move. I find that kind of useful. You can get an extra Helm Breaker hit on it, like that. You can get an extra Helm hit. Sometimes you can get 3. See if I can get 3. There, I got 3 right there. So, you know, it's kind of useful. To do that, I simply just bounce between the red button and the green button with my thumb. Just bam, 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 you know. Kind of like that. It's kind of hard to do it in that position, but yeah, that's kind of how I do it. For the actual jump canceling for this, I have a different technique, button pressing technique to do for this. Basically, I use the joint of my thumb. So right here on that part of my thumb, right there, I use that bottom ball, my joint thumb part there, to press the A button, and then I use the tip of my finger to press the other 3 buttons. Okay, so I pretty much always play on the controller like that. It's just out of habit, really. I guess it's from playing a lot of fighting games, because I love fighting games. Like Soul Calibur is my favorite. But anyway, so I use that joint there to press the A button, the green button on the controller, and I use the tip of my thumb to press all the other buttons. And how I do the jump canceling is basically I'm just putting that button, my joint part down on that button first, on the A button, and then just kind of rolling my tip to the attack button. So that's kind of how that works. I just do that really fast, and that's kind of how you get the jump cancel. So you just got to kind of practice the timing and the feel for it. It takes a little bit of practice to do it, but once you get it off, you can do it pretty well. Another thing that's move that's really good for the jump canceling is the Achilles. So these blades that you've got. Okay, you can jump cancel this move in the air. Basically, your initial that little wave attack there, and it's got such a huge area effect that spamming that in the air is actually really helpful. You got to be very fast with hitting your buttons, but doing your jump canceling. But if you can get it off fast enough, it's kind of retarded. Like, you'll just hit everything in the air in a very large radius repeatedly non-stop with your jump canceling, and it's really useful, I found, for when you're fighting a lot of air enemies, or like especially those stupid guys, the enemies, I forget what they're called, but they got the angel wings and they shoot the angel spears at you and stuff like that. They're kind of a real pain in the ass sometimes, and that move really helps out, I think. So you just get them up in the air and you just charge up that. Kind of screwing that up a bit. Alright, so just get this up there. So you just do your regular jump canceling move, but you got to do it much faster. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay? That's kind of ridiculous right there. So you're just spamming the shit out of enemies in the air. I've gotten like 100 air combos in no time at all using that move, because I'm hitting like 5 enemies at once with that thing. Alright, the other thing is my little thing, I guess I call glitch bouncing. I don't really know what else to call it, but you glitch bounce an enemy. And the reason why I call it that is because one of the more of the pain in the ass things about this is sometimes when you're trying to knock an enemy off the ledge, you'll be hitting them with your melee weapon. Okay, you'll be fighting them, doing combos on them. Okay, and if they're next to a ledge, unless you actually do a move that kind of like hits them and arcs them a bit, they don't really go off the ledge. They just continually. It's like you're hitting them into a wall, kind of. Not like you hit them and they fall off, like Dark Souls or something like that. It's different. They just kind of keep standing there at the ledge until you actually legitimately do a kind of move that kicks them horizontally with sort of like an arc-like fashion. So they're not really touching the ground as they're moving horizontally, and that'll get them over the ledge and get that environmental kill. You know, it's kind of annoying too, because normally most of your moves, they get the guy up in the air vertically. Even if I got my shotgun, okay, I got my shotgun out right now. Even if I got the guy up in the air and I shoot with my shotgun, it doesn't really move him horizontally at all. It just moves him up and down. So the only way to really get that horizontal arc is you got to do air combos. So like that. There you go. You do that move to him and he'll go flying. But a lot of times we don't have the luxury of sitting there just fucking hitting the guy in the air nonstop just to get him off the edge. A lot of times we're fighting multiple people, multiple enemies. We got a lot of shit to deal with. We can't be screwing around in the air like that, or just trying just to get 1 or 2 enemies off. So I found a quicker way of doing it, really. So you can be fighting a lot of enemies. You knock a few in the air. Okay, knock a few in the air. You got your guns out. You know, you're shooting at people, trying to stop their attacks. And eventually you get a guy. You knock a guy up in the air, and right when he hits the ground, okay, you just hit him with the shotgun right when he hits the ground, and it gives them that kind of like that weird horizontal boost, but it also hits them really high in the air. So they're gonna go over whatever obstacles are in the way, and then go out of the ring or go out of the area and get that, you know, fall to their deaths and get the horizontal kill. Now, something else that's really weird about doing this, you can pretty much do it with any move, you know, as long as they're hitting the ground, you know, you can execute it. So it works for pretty much anything, which kind of makes it really useful, because you can be fighting a lot of guys doing some moves, and you just kind of work that shotgun into that move real quickly and knock that guy out, you know, and you get that environmental kill. So it's pretty quick and useful way. There, see, that's the ridiculous part about it. If you get it just right, you time it just right. So right when the guy hits the ground, it kind of glitches the game a bit, which is why I call it like glitch bouncing an enemy. So it glitches him to the point where like he kind of spazzes out, and then he goes really, really, really high and really, really, really far. It's almost a guaranteed kill at that point, unless there's no place for him to fall off. But anyway, kind of a useful thing I've found, really helps out a lot. And you can also do it using doing the kicks as well. So the kick's also a good way to knock people off the ledge real quickly, but sometimes, you know, we don't really have that opportunity to pull it off. So, and those are some things that I found that have really helped me out a lot in terms of playing on the harder difficulties. Something else that I found really useful is I use this dodge a lot, just because you move so fast, so far, a lot of invulnerability frames in between, so you don't really take damage. Really great dodge. And I kind of neglected the whole demon dodge just because it's just, you know, it's derpy. You know, it looks derpy anyway. You're just like, oh, I'm just dodging. If I wanted to just dodge, I just press the dodge button. But it's kind of more useful against enemies when you start understanding their attack patterns and being able to predict their attacks. I didn't really use it that much in the beginning, and I think mainly that's why. It's because I didn't really understand enemy attack patterns. I didn't really understand the type of tactics and strategies the enemies were using against me, so I couldn't really predict their movements all that well. So I went with something that was generally a little bit safer, you know, which is the angel dodge. But the demon dodge, that damage bonus is ridiculous. Like, you do way more damage with that adrenaline boost or whatever it is that they give you. Now, I highly recommend you try it out on enemies that have more predictable attacks, okay, and try to get used to working it into your flow. One of the enemies I actually started really getting used to doing this on was, believe it or not, those ninja guys, okay, the guys that are kind of like really fast and they warp through space-time and they try to frickin' attack you from different directions and shit like that, and they block your bullets and stuff with swords. Those guys are, you know, really good to train on in terms of figuring out you know, how to use the demon dodge correctly. Actually, I use it mostly when I'm fighting them, believe it or not, because you only get to hit them a few times before they start blocking all your shit again, and it gets kind of dangerous. So those are the guys I really really thought it was kind of crazy to fight them on, or fight them with, was using the demon dodge. There was really a good move to use on them. Let's see, other things I'm trying to think of. I guess some other combos that I found really useful. Sometimes, so like say I got my guns out and shooting people. Okay, so say I'm charging up my guns. Sometimes when I finish these combos like this, you know, I'll shoot my gun out and shoot my charged up shot right when I finish a combo. I think it's really useful. This combo where you charge your sword, I find it really useful to shoot the gun right at the end of that. It's really quick to get out the gunshot. Sometimes if you let your gun out too early, see, it doesn't really register. Like it won't shoot it. I'm trying to get it to not register, but like you kind of got to do it in the middle of the move by accident. I tried to program myself to not do that. Another really good tactic I like to use is you know, when you're using the axe. I love the axe. The axe is so powerful. You get that Trinity Smash move on there. You can actually get that out much faster. It's one of the moves in the side here. You know, you can, whenever your weapons flash. Okay, you may have figured this out already. Whenever your weapons flash and they give you that opportunity to use a different move, you get that pause there. You can switch to any other weapon and use the more advanced attack of that weapon, you know, that you want to use when it flashes like that. However, for me, I found the most useful flash attack is quick flashing to the last hit of the axe and getting that Trinity Smash off. So you do your regular one right there, and then bam, that shit. That's a really great way to get that Trinity Smash out, and it sends the guy flying. It's kind of also a little bit area effect too. If there's enemies in a group next to him, it'll hit them too. And it's great. It's a great move. I love it. I use it all the time. You know, just a 1-2 hit, get that axe out. It's pretty awesome. Hit him really hard. Much better than just doing this and doing that and then doing this. It's kind of saves a lot of extra time. And there's also less commitment. And what I mean by commitment is I mean by, like, once you do the move, you got to wait till the animation finishes before you can do anything else. So, but using the swords are much faster, so there's much less commitment. So if you really need to get the fuck out, you can, you know, there's opportunity to dodge. Whereas when you're doing the axe, you know, there's not that much time to dodge out of there. You got to wait till your shit's done attacking before you can move out of there. So get that little those couple extra halves of a second may save your ass when you're in a tough fight. Those are some other things. Another thing is air juggling. This is kind of like one of the first things I figured out is how to easily air juggle people by using the angel grab. So if you get the guy up in the air, you do your air combo. As long as you grab them right at the end of the combo, you can just keep freaking doing it. Okay? I can just go up for fucking ever. You know, keep going. So it's kind of useful to know. It's really good with this weapon here, you know, because this weapon you get a bunch of guys up in the air and you're doing this to them sometimes, and it's kind of good. You can at least get one guy and try to keep going with the thing. Sometimes another good thing to do too, though, when you've got a bunch of guys up in the air, is instead of doing the angel grab to keep the combo going, instead of doing that, use the rake. Now, why I say that is, you know, you want to rake a few guys. If you got multiple guys up in the air, it's kind of really useful because you can keep not just one, but maybe several of the guys in the air with you as you're doing your spinning move and trying to get them up in the air more. I mean, I've gotten a few guys to stay up in the air with me while using the regular angel grab technique as well. But when I find it a little bit more effective to use the rake in that instance. If you're really good, you can switch out to the Aquila. Okay, so you can get the guy up in the air. Okay, do your air buy-in, your mid-air buy-in. So basically, the buy-in is when you wait and it kind of brings all the guys close to you. You can do that in the air as well. So see right there, you can do that. And then switch to your weapons. Do your regular attack. I haven't really gotten good at that yet. You can basically switch. Okay, then do the air switch back to the air buy-in. You know, rotate back and forth. Keep the guys in the air. That's kind of something I'm still practicing. But you know, those are some of the moves that I've used that I really find effective. Another thing, if you didn't know this, the guns don't do a lot of damage. But a couple of the things that make them really useful, and some of the tactics I like to employ, is say an enemy's attack. You see an enemy, you're fighting some guy, and you see an enemy, he's getting ready to attack you. If you shoot him with the gun a few times real quick, he'll stop attacking and his shit'll reset, and he'll just start walking around and doing his derpy shit like he normally does. So if you see enemies getting ready to attack you and you have a little opportunity, hit him with a couple bullets or two, and you'll just stop that animation. It even works on the guys with the shields. If they're starting to charge up and getting ready to hit you, they'll start blocking their bullets instead of doing their attack, which will stop you, stop them from attacking. Works great with the shotgun too. So if you're surrounded and with a lot of guys, I love using the fireworks move, where he like kind of swings his shotgun around like nunchucks. It's pretty fucking awesome, actually. really great for stunning enemies around you in a circle and keeping them off your back. So you can fight, you know, finish a combo, do one of these, go dash to someone else, do something else, shoot your guns out like that. You know, kind of that's one of the really helpful moves in the game, and you can do it in midair too. You know, kind of helpful if you got air enemies up in the air while you're dealing with someone else. Another thing is, you know, sometimes it's good to use your latch moves, your grabbing moves, and do your angel grab to help move between enemies quickly. But another good way to do that is using your stinger move. So this move, mainly because it's the distance it covers, and even if you don't hit the guy, you're still going straight at someone. And also it knocks the guy down and gives you a couple seconds while they get up. So you can kind of bounce between enemies, and it's a good way to quick travel between different areas of the battlefield just by bouncing between enemies that way. And you're still doing damage to them, whereas the grab, you might leave yourself open to attack. So that's kind of a good move to do. Sometimes I like to interchange that a bit. Instead of doing the last, kind of like the explosive stab at the end, I'll do the use this instead. And why will I use that? It's because while I'm doing that move, I can transfer into other moves. So while I'm doing this, I can decide to uppercut him and go do something else, you know, or lunge to another guy, you know. And getting that uppercut in there kind of gives you another second or two of delay for that monster to kind of recoup and get into a position where he can start doing damage to you again if you're trying to bounce between enemies and keep them all at bay. So that's kind of a nice tactic I like to use. It comes in handy a lot when I'm to bounce between enemies. And obviously if you get the advantage, you know, sometimes you bounce well enough between an enemy where you kind of put yourself in an advantage. You have that opportunity to just keep stabbing the shit out of the guy, get him up, you know, and just really knock the crap out of him. Or a lot of times, you know, you can get him at the air and then do some jump canceling on him, you know, as soon as you're done. You know, and right when you see them take position to get you, you can just finish off with another move. You know, it's kind of really helpful in that manner. So anyway, those are some of my common advanced techniques that I use a lot to play through some of the harder difficulties. And I hope you guys found that helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Obviously, I'm not a pro at Devil May Cry by any means, but I love action games. I love playing things on harder difficulties, and I love the challenge and intensity it brings. To me, it's just really fun. You get jacked up on coffee, drink like a whole pot of coffee, and just get so amped, and you're playing through really intense, difficult battles. It's really fun. I think it's awesome. Really gets your mind sharp. Everything seems slow motion after doing stuff like that. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. This is Sephiroth Cat signing off.